is the recording for TOEFL Practice Tests, Volume 2. The material on this recording has been taken from previously administered TOEFL tests. In this format, it is intended for practice use only. Reproduction of this recording is prohibited without written permission from Educational Testing Service.
This side of the recording contains the listening comprehension questions for Practice Test A. Practice Test B is on side 2. The second cassette contains Practice Tests C and D. If you are having difficulty hearing this recording, make any necessary adjustments in the volume on your cassette player.
In order to get the best possible results, it is important that you understand how to fill in your practice answer sheet properly. Therefore, if you have not read Completing Your Answer Sheet on page 6, stop this recording and do so.
Remove Answer Sheet A on page 9 from your book and place it in front of you. You are now ready to begin Practice Test A. Do not use paper for taking notes, and do not mark your answers or underline words in your book. On the day of the actual test, it will be considered an act of cheating to do so.
Find the answer spaces for Section 1 on your answer sheet. Then, look at page 11 of your book and follow the directions as they are read to you.
Practice Test A. Section 1, Listening Comprehension. In this section of the test, you will have an opportunity to demonstrate your ability to understand conversations and talks in English. There are 3 parts to this section, with special directions for each part. Answer all the questions on the basis of what is stated or implied by the speakers in this test. When you take the actual TOEFL test, you will not be allowed to take notes or write in your test book. Try to work on Practice Test A in the same way. Part A, Directions. In Part A, you will hear short conversations between 2 people. After each conversation, you will hear a question about the conversation. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Here's an example. On the recording, you hear,
I don't like this painting very much.
Neither do I.
What does the man mean? In your test book, you read, A. He doesn't like the painting either. B. He doesn't know how to paint. C. He doesn't have any paintings. D. He doesn't know what to do. You learn from the conversation that neither the man nor the woman likes the painting. The best answer to the question, what does the man mean, is A. He doesn't like the painting either. Therefore, the correct choice is A. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part A with the first conversation. Number 1.
How often do the buses run?
Every half hour on weekdays, but I'm not sure about weekends. There's a schedule on the corner by the bus stop.
What does the man imply? Number 2.
It's really nice of you to visit me when I'm so miserable with the flu. I'm sure I'd feel much better if I just had some of my mom's homemade chicken soup.
That'll be hard to come by, but a cup of hot tea might help.
What will the woman probably do next? Number 3.
I still have some things to pack before we leave.
We're supposed to be at the airport in half an hour, so you'd better get a move on.
What does the woman mean? Number 4.
Maybe one night next week we could get together for dinner? How about Monday?
I have 2 classes on Monday and Wednesday, 1 class on Thursday, and I work Monday to Friday. Maybe next month during vacation.
What does the woman mean? Number 5.
Did you bring home the seeds for the vegetable garden?
The nursery was closed when I got there.
What did the man do? Number 6.
We're offering quite a few programs this fall. Feel free to call any time and talk to the nurse.
Maybe I'll do that. There are some things I'd like to know about the weight reduction program you're offering.
What does the man imply? Number 7.
Excuse me, an egg fell out of the carton and broke on the floor.
Thanks for telling me. I'll take care of it before someone slips on it.
What is the man going to do? Number 8.
I tell you, I'm not sure how much longer I can keep waking up for these early morning classes.
Well, you've never been an early riser. Maybe you should remember that when you choose your classes for next semester.
What does the woman suggest the man do? Number 9.
You're the manager? Look, the strap on this suitcase broke the first time I used it. I'd like to get my money back, or at least store credit.
I've sold hundreds of these suitcases, and this is the first time anything's happened. Why don't you try another?
What does the man want to do for the woman? Number 10.
You know I'm on your side, Alice, and even I think you're overreacting.
Well, that's your opinion, isn't it?
What does the woman mean? Number 11.
Do you have change for a $50 bill?
A $50 bill? I hardly have 50 cents.
What does the man mean? Number 12.
I think you've been working too hard. You should take a vacation.
Tell that to this stack of papers on my desk.
What can be inferred about the man? Number 13.
Julia asked me to pick up the guest speaker, Bob Russell, at the airport this afternoon. Do you know what he looks like?
He stands out. He's really tall and always wears a bow tie.
What can be inferred about the guest speaker? Number 14.
Whoops! Oh, no. I got coffee all over your shirt. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it. That's what dry cleaners are for.
What does the man imply? Number 15.
Hey, Bill, how's it going with the new house? Are you all settled in yet?
Far from it. There are boxes everywhere. I can't wait for everything to get back to normal.
What does the man imply? Number 16.
To major in astrophysics, you need to take 2 semesters of physics and math as a freshman.
Okay. And I see the college bulletin suggests waiting until my second year to take astronomy.
What can be inferred about the woman? Number 17.
Dennis would like us to go bowling with him this weekend.
I'd love to, but not until I get this project out of the way. And that could take weeks.
What does the woman mean? Number 18.
Will you need a ride to work while your car is being repaired?
Actually, I thought I'd ask Eric. He lives closer to me.
What does the man mean? Number 19.
Look at this traffic. By the time we get to the museum, we'll only have an hour to look around before it closes.
You may be right, but since we can't do anything about it, we may as well try to relax.
What does the man mean? Number 20.
Hey, Judy, will you let me know when 10 minutes have passed? I'm putting the spaghetti in now.
Sure, there's nothing worse than soggy, overcooked spaghetti.
What does the woman mean? Go on to the next page. Number 21.
I've got to do well on this research paper to pass history.
So I guess you'll be spending the weekend in the library.
What does the woman imply? Number 22.
I have band rehearsal tonight. I guess we won't be able to go to the movies.
Another rehearsal? Am I ever sick and tired of your rehearsals?
What does the woman imply? Number 23.
The gym looks pretty crowded. Are there always this many people here?
It changes according to the time of day.
What does the man mean? Number 24.
Gloria is really pleased with her promotion.
She certainly deserves it after all these years.
What does the woman mean? Number 25.
The people in this course seem really enthusiastic about it.
Most of them do, at any rate.
What does the woman imply about the course? Number 26.
Mike sure was surprised that he had a hard time assembling his new bike.
Well, that's to be expected with no instruction manual.
What does the man imply? Number 27.
Have you ever used a camera like this before?
I used to have one very similar to it.
What does the man imply? Number 28.
We got a thank you note from Nancy today. She said she's already worn the scarf we sent.
That's great. I wasn't sure if she'd wear red.
What had the woman been concerned about? Number 29.
This is the car you bought? I've never seen such an old jalopy.
It may not look like much, but it gets me where I'm going.
What does the man mean? Number 30.
I see you got a new book bag. You're not using that old ripped one anymore.
On top of that, I had to buy a new statistics book because my old one fell out of the ripped book bag.
What can be inferred about the woman? This is the end of Part A. Go on to the next page. Now read along as the directions for Part B are being read. Part B, Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear longer conversations. After each conversation, you will hear several questions. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Remember, you should not take notes or write on your test pages. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part B with the first conversation. Questions 31 through 34. Listen to a conversation at a zoo.
Let's go into the penguin house.
Great. I read that they've added a couple of emperor penguins from Antarctica.
I was hoping to stay in the warmer section. You know, they have some penguins here from the Galapagos Islands, and that's practically on the equator.
But the emperor penguin's huge. It's a lot bigger than the Galapagos penguin. In fact, it's bigger than all the other penguins, almost 4 feet high.
Imagine a bird that size flying through the air.
And penguins don't actually fly.
I know that. They just sort of waddle.
They swim, too. Even though they're feathered, their wings are more like flippers. They work like paddles in the water.
I thought they were land animals.
They lay their eggs on land. They make their nests in these enormous colonies called rookeries. See, the emperor penguin has this interesting nesting habit. The female bird leaves the ocean at the beginning of autumn. She lays an egg on the ice and then immediately returns to the water.
What happens to the egg?
The male rolls it onto his feet and then covers it with the lower part of his belly.
Then what?
For 2 whole months, during the worst part of the winter, he huddles together with other male penguins to keep the eggs warm.
So the female brings him food?
No. See, the penguin can fast for up to 4 months. The female comes back after the chick hatches. When she does, the male goes out to sea to get food for himself and the chick.
Number 31. Why does the man want to visit the penguin house? Number 32. What is unique about the emperor penguin? Number 33. What does the man say about the wings of the penguin? Number 34. What does the male emperor penguin do after the female lays an egg? Questions 35 through 38. Listen to two friends talk about a magazine article.
Mark really needs to see this article in Psychology Weekly.
Why? What's it on?
Reasons for negative behavior patterns, like procrastination, habitual lateness.
You're right. That's Mark. He's never on time. So what does it say?
That people who are always late often do it for a reason, either conscious or unconscious. It could be an expression of anger and resentment, or a way of resisting authority. It could even be anxiety.
Well, I don't know. In Mark's case, I think it's because he wants to be noticed.
That's the next reason in the article, the need for attention. They give the example of movie stars who used to make these grand entrances.
That's not really Mark's style, though. He's so quiet.
What gets me is that he's late for his friends all the time, but not for other things like work.
Well, but they might deduct pay for that.
Exactly. You know, sometimes I'm tempted to tell him to come at, say, 7, and everybody else at 7:15. Then maybe we wouldn't have to wait so long.
We have to try something. You know, he confessed to me one day that he was even late for his sister's wedding. She was really angry.
I remember that. He was in the wedding, so they couldn't start until he got there.
Maybe you should slip that magazine under his door, anonymously, and hope he gets the message.
Number 35. What is the main subject of the magazine article? Number 36. What do Mark's friends think is the reason for his problem? Number 37. What do the speakers say about Mark's recent behavior? Number 38. What solution does the woman consider? This is the end of Part B. Go on to the next page. Now read along as the directions for Part C are being read. Part C, Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear several short talks. After each talk, you will hear some questions. The talks and the questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Here is an example. On the recording, you hear, listen to an instructor talk to his class about a television program.
I'd like to tell you about an interesting TV program that'll be shown this coming Thursday. It'll be on from 9 to 10 p.m. on Channel 4. It's part of a series called Mysteries of Human Biology. The subject of the program is the human brain, how it functions, and how it can malfunction. Topics that will be covered are dreams, memory, and depression. These topics are illustrated with outstanding computer animation that makes the explanations easy to follow. Make an effort to see this show. Since we've been studying the nervous system in class, I know you'll find it very helpful.
Now listen to a sample question. What is the main purpose of the program? In your test book, you read, A, to demonstrate the latest use of computer graphics. B, to discuss the possibility of an economic depression. C, to explain the workings of the brain. D, to dramatize a famous mystery story. The best answer to the question, what is the main purpose of the program, is C, to explain the workings of the brain. Therefore, the correct choice is C. Now listen to another sample question. Why does the speaker recommend watching the program? In your test book, you read A, it is required of all science majors. B, it will never be shown again. C, it can help viewers improve their memory skills. D, it will help with coursework. The best answer to the question, why does the speaker recommend watching the program, is D, it will help with coursework. Therefore, the correct choice is D. Remember, you should not take notes or write on your test pages. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part C with the first talk. Questions 39 through 42. Listen to a talk about food labels.
Current studies show that what goes on labels is an important consideration for manufacturers, since more than 70% of shoppers read food labels when considering whether to buy a product. A recent controversy as to whether labels on prepared foods should educate or merely inform the consumer is over, and a consumer group got its way. The group had maintained that product labels should do more than simply list how many grams of nutrients a food contains. Their contention was that labels should also list the percentage of a day's total nutrients that the product will supply to the consumer, because this information is essential in planning a healthy diet. A government agency disagreed strongly, favoring a label that merely informs the consumer. In other words, a label that only lists the contents of the product. The agency maintained that consumers could decide for themselves if the food is nutritious and is meeting their daily needs. The consumer group, in supporting its case, had cited a survey in which shoppers were shown a food label and were then asked if they would need more or less of a certain nutrient after eating a serving of this product. The shoppers weren't able to answer the questions easily when they were not given a specific percentage. This study and others helped get the new regulation passed, and now food products must have the more detailed labels.
Number 39. What was the controversy about? Number 40. Why does the speaker mention that more than 70% of people read food labels? Number 41. What did the consumer group propose? Number 42. What did the survey of food shoppers reveal? Questions 43 through 47. Listen to a talk being given by an airline representative at a college fair.
Good afternoon. I'm here today to talk to you about a career with our airline. We're especially interested in recruiting people to fill openings for flight attendants. First of all, to work as a flight attendant with us, you must be accepted into our training program. And with so many people applying, it's not easy to be selected. From the thousands of applications that we receive annually, we choose fewer than 1,000 people for training. So we require experience serving the public. And it also helps if you've earned some college credits. Also, not everybody who gets accepted into the training program makes it through. The course meets 6 days a week for 5 weeks. The training includes extensive classroom work in such subjects as first aid and passenger psychology, as well as practical training in flight procedures and meal service. A lot of our graduates say that our flight attendants develop the skills of a nurse, a head waiter, and a public relations executive. But as a flight attendant myself, I can say that all of the hard work is worth it. Of course, I get to travel throughout the country, and the airline pays all of my expenses while I'm away from my base station. And what I like best of all is that I've made friends with people from all over the country.
Number 43. What is the purpose of the talk? Number 44. According to the speaker, what are applicants to the training program required to have? Number 45. What subject matter does the speaker mention is included in the training? Number 46. Why does the speaker mention head waiters? Number 47. What does the speaker like most about her job? Questions 48 through 50. Listen to part of a talk in a geology class.
Today I want to talk about the Earth's last major climatic shift at the end of the last ice age. But first, let's back up a moment and review what we know about climatic change in general. First, we defined climate as consistent patterns of weather over significant periods of time. In general, changes in climate occur when the energy balance of the Earth is disturbed. Solar energy enters the Earth's atmosphere as light and is radiated by the Earth's surface as heat. Land, water, and ice each affect this energy exchange differently. The system is so complex that to date our best computer models are only crude approximations and are not sophisticated enough to test hypotheses about the causes of climatic change. Of course, that doesn't keep us from speculating. For instance, volcanic activity is one mechanism that might affect climatic change. When large volcanoes erupt, they disperse tons of particles into the upper atmosphere, where the particles then reflect light. Since less light is entering the system of energy exchange, the result would be a cooling of the Earth's surface. Of course, this is just one possible mechanism of global climate change. In all probability, a complete explanation would involve several different mechanisms operating at the same time.
Number 48. How does the speaker begin her discussion? Number 49. What does the speaker mean by the phrase, the energy balance of the Earth? Number 50. Why do meteorologists have difficulty testing hypotheses about climatic changes? This is the end of Section 1 of Practice Test A. Turn off your cassette player and begin work on Section 2.